I just did my TV ranking video where I talked like The Bear, The Boys, House of the Dragon, some of the best shows on TV. Severance is now in that category after a season 2 that lives up to the hype. What's up, Flick fans? I have seen the first 6 episodes of Severance Season 2. Now, presumably you all have seen the first episode. We're not going to dive into season-ending spoilers, but I am going to tell you kind of what I'm feeling.
I know you're still weighing whether to return to Lumon. But the Mark I've come to know is happy.
And in Season 2, Mark and his friends learn the dire consequences of trifling with the Severance barrier, leading them further down a path of woe. And so here's the thing. I haven't seen how Season 2 wraps up just yet, but I've seen big integral moments that I'm not going to spoil in this video, do not worry, but I do want to talk about the characters, kind of where we were at the end of Season 1. I just recently went back and watched that finale. It's incredible. How did we wait so long for Season 2? It doesn't make any sense. Here's the thing. I actually got to Season 1 very late. It was in my top 10 of that year, but I didn't get to review it. And so this is my first time really talking about it. Oh my God. Ben Stiller. It's some of your best work.
It was perfect.
Obviously, the relationship you all probably want to know about is between Mark and Helly. At least they're innies with that relationship and how everything kind of comes to a head at the end of Season 1. Those revelations take place. The last thing we hear Mark say in slow motion is she's alive. Now, obviously, that's going to take into effect here. But in Season 2, we're back with Mark in the beginning of this first episode, except there's a new team assembled, a new co-workers, if you will. And there's a young girl telling us where we have to go and what we have to do. Like, what is going on here? Where's my team? Where's my friends? What the heck happened at the end of Season 1, or at least the fallout of that? Now, here's something I can tell you. What I can tell you is there are people that are aware because of what Mark did, because of what Helly's outie said. Now, we know that she is kind of the top dog in this organization, at least that version of her. But coming out and telling all of these people, hey, we're miserable in here, it's going to spark some controversy. It's going to also kind of spark a movement, if you will, or just movement in general on how to keep the people inside, or all of the innies, how to keep them happy, how to switch things up just a little bit, not have them all come together and form a revolt. That's not what we want. This is where Tremel Tillman's character, Seth, comes back into play. A leadership role of sorts in this season, and he's kind of working on himself. How do I get these people to take me seriously, and how do I prevent this from happening again? And we get these very intimate moments with just him on screen talking to himself, trying to talk through the situation, and there's a bit of evil in there that's shining through, even more so. We saw what he did at the end of Season 1, but I am really liking where his character is headed. The trajectory of that, what I've seen in 6 episodes, he's doing a fantastic job, and he may actually be the most impressive character in Season 2 so far, because you want to hate him so much, but there are so many beautiful and integral character moments, relationships that obviously we want to focus on. Helly and Mark, that's kind of the main one here, and we see all of them come back together, and you know they're going to, right? But eventually, in Season 2, they're going to be back on screen together. I'm not going to tell you what the circumstances are, why, or how, but that definitely made for an interesting set of dynamics because of that fallout happening at the end of Season 1. Things aren't going to be the same between them, whether that be within the relationships, just the way they interact around each other, and you're asking the question the first time you see them on screen together again, are they going to try this again? Are they going to get more information as to how they get out of here? Not only how they get out of here, but how we can start to connect these two worlds even more so. And this is where Severance, it goes from just a great and unique idea, an awesome concept, and then the relatability of, you know, we hate going to work every day. The 9-to-5 job, it's pretty miserable. What if we didn't have to actually be there? That's an idea that's fleshed out in the first season. Now that's back in this season, but this time around, we're starting to ask more questions. There are more themes and thematic elements being posed to us, and taking it a step further, I mean, there are a couple of moments in Season 2, at least so far for me, where they're talking spiritual. They're talking, is your any Is it a completely different version than you? Does it have its own soul? Like, there are questions being asked in this season. I'm like, I didn't think to think of that in season 1, but they thought to think of it, and now they're thinking of it, and because they're thinking of it, I'm appreciating how thoughtful they're being.
What do you mean by that?
And so Lumon, as a company, obviously what happens at the end of season 1 is going to spark some changes, going to spark some interesting things that they are trying to do for the innies, but our innies, at least the ones that we're focused on, are kind of like, I don't know, is this legit? And again, without diving into detail, it's all about melding these two worlds. And I don't even mean physically. I mean your innie trying to connect to your outie without actually connecting to your outie. And how do I get a message out there? How do I go back and do this again? What questions do I need answered? And then there's the obvious question, the one that he screams out at the end of season 1, she's alive. Well, where is she? Irving's back, still struggling with the heartbreak when it came to Bert, but you can just tell there's an authenticity with his character, and I really love the moments that we get with him. Dylan, who gets a very fascinating plot thread that's kind of separated from the group in this season, and I'm not going to say specifically what it is, but Lumon kind of does something for him that doesn't make its way to the rest of our group of innies. And I thought that the way that progressed and played out and showing the differences between this version of yourself and that version of yourself, and he's just a really interesting character. Like, he was kind of used for more of the comedic relief in season 1, but this time around there's more of an emotional side to his story, which I appreciate. But again, it really is just a great story kind of centered around Mark, and that's where all of these plot threads and side stories spawn from. Mark's love for his friends, his co-workers, but his friends at this point, and trying his best to make his way back to that in that first episode. And where the heck am I now? Why am I here? Why is this what I'm dealing with? And how do I get back to that? Now, so why is there a young girl here? That's a great joke in the trailer. And, I feel like she's going to play in more so as the season goes. We haven't fully hit on her just yet in these 6 episodes, but there are pieces and elements. And just to kind of get to the point of this review, I think this season, my fear was that it was going to take that original idea concept and just continue to beat the dead horse, do the same thing that season 1 did, and continue to ask those similar questions. Those questions are kind of the central focus of season 2, but we are expanding our horizons here. And season 2, bigger is not always better, but season 2 is going bigger with its themes, bigger with its ideas, and we are capping off some of those really important, mysterious elements of season 1. Like, you get a lot of your questions answered in the first few episodes, which is great, but you're left with more questions, some of the same questions, but a couple of big ones that eventually are going to unravel into this huge conspiracy of sorts. And one of the main questions we're asking in season 2 is, what is really up Lumon's sleeve? And are they fully aware of what we're doing and saying to each other right now? And what's the final motive between them and Milicic and really anyone that you don't know whether you can trust or not? And I will say in season 2, even the people that you are sure that you can trust have their secrets. And that's where I will leave you, because again, I don't want to talk about spoilers in this video, man. There's so much to spoil with Severance. I also want to say, again, the production design, the cinematography, just the way this season looks. Like, season 1 looked phenomenal, like cinematic. There's one shot of Helly walking through a hallway, and I'm just like, this is remarkable. And just that introduction, the first episode, which you'll see following around Mark and how the camera is swerving and running through our classic hallway carrying the balloons. I'm just like, you don't get TV like this very often. And so here's the thing. I don't want to give you a number yet because I haven't seen the last couple of episodes, but I will tell you, this is on pace to being one of the highest rated shows of the decade. Like, season 1, 3 years ago, by the way, I can't believe it's been that long, is in the 9.5 range. This is on pace to match that. Season 2 is absolutely phenomenal, folks. It not only includes a layered response to some of the questions posed in Season 1, but the creative way it spins these ideas into something bigger is even more impressive. It's a visual spectacle, full of engrossing relationships and numerous mysteries. It somehow keeps these characters grounded while workplace madness happens around them. This is top-tier television. I'm telling you, I need to see how all of this comes together. So if you drop a like on this video, first of all, supports the channel. I appreciate that. But we'll do a spoiler review. Okay, we may do one for episode 1 if it gets enough likes, but we're definitely going to do one at the end of the season because I've got to talk about what I've seen so far, and I can't wait to see what happens next. So thank you all so much for watching this video. If I get enough likes, we'll do a spoiler review. I can't wait for you all to see episode 1, and I believe they're dropping weekly after that. So 1 this week, and I'll meet back with you later. But we're reviewing TV shows, movies on this channel every day. I'll see you soon.